Is driving Uber and Lyft helping you to gain weight? That's what we're talking about right now. Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. So it's the day after Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody had a safe and happy holiday, a lot of fun and enjoyment, especially being around family and friends, or however you celebrated your Thanksgiving. Hopefully you ate a lot of food and stuffed your face like I did as well. So I just wanted to talk and thought that today, being the day after Thanksgiving, eating a lot of meals and eating a lot of food, let's talk about how or if driving Uber and Lyft help weight gain when we are driving. So what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to first answer that question and then talk about the complexity of it. I'm also going to share a story about my weight gain and what I've been doing while being a Uber and Lyft driver and what I'm doing to try and curb and stop that while reversing it. And then also share some different tips on what you can do so you can stop weight gain or reverse it or maintain, depending on what your goal or where you are at. So let's start off by answering, does Uber and Lyft driving help contribute to weight gain? And the answer is, by itself, no, not really. But when it's coupled with other factors, it surely can accelerate weight gain. So we're going to talk about a couple of those different factors and the complexity behind it. But by itself, no, it does not necessarily contribute to weight gain. It's dependent on the other factors. So the first factor that helps with weight gain and can accelerate if you are a Uber or Lyft driver is diet itself. So it's, what are you eating? Are you eating healthy or are you eating fast food? Are you eating good meals at a certain amount of time or doing intermittent fasting or whatever type of diet there is out there? Or are you just going out drinking soda and eating cookies or snacks or whatever it might be? So it's going to depend on diet and what you're eating. That's going to be the first major factor that can influence and couple with weight gain when it comes to being an Uber or Lyft driver and just sitting there. Now, the second factor is activity level outside of driving for Uber and Lyft. So what's your activity level? Do you have another job that you just sit there most of the day at a desk and you don't really move too much except for maybe walking to a meeting or the bathroom or to lunch? Are you a student who is sitting in class for, 5 classes, different classes a week that goes on however many days that might be? How active are you? Or are you very active? Do you play some sort of sport, or do you do some sort of thing on the side that continues your activity level and boosts it a little bit? Is your job very labor intense? All those things can play into it as well, because one of the big things is your activity level as a Uber or Lyft driver is almost non-existent, because the only thing you're really moving is your arms when you're steering and doing a couple of different movements when it comes to maybe answering a ping or ending the ride, which isn't really movement at all, or moving your foot for the gas pedal and the brake, which again is not very much activity at all when you are driving. Now, the third factor is also exercise. So are you exercising? Are you doing cardio? Are you doing, weightlifting or some sort of weight resistance training? Are you doing that or not? So if you're not doing any activity, if you're not doing any exercise and you're eating poor and doing Uber Lyft, chances are you're going to blow up very quickly. So that can have a major impact. But on the flip side of that, if you are active If you are exercising and doing cardio, and if you are eating healthy, the inactivity when you are driving Uber or Lyft, maybe for 30, 40, 50 hours also a week, can have a negligible impact, or you could actually continue to lose weight if that is your sole desire. So my story regarding weight gain with Uber and Lyft has pretty much been because of those few other factors, and just sitting there driving around just accelerated that growth because of less activity. So real quick, I've been a driver for about 4 years, on and off, mostly for the first 2, and then really doing it for the last 2 years. So over the last year and a half or so, I started putting on weight more and more. And then it got to a point where over this last summer, the weight gain really accelerated. I was driving a little bit more, but a couple of different things are changing. My diet really took a dive. So I was out eating junk food and going to fast food joints, taking in soda, eating a lot of sugar, eating carbs, and all that stuff just started adding up. And then my activity levels dropped. So it wasn't just the driving where the activity level was low, but it was elsewhere besides that. And then on top of that, my exercise regimen kind of faded out. So over the last, 6 to 8 months, it really, really started increasing and my weight started gaining. And I got to a point last month, mid-October actually, where I was just not happy with where I was. I wasn't feeling good. I was tired. I just didn't have the same energy. It just wasn't feeling right. So I decided to make a change. And I knew that driving Uber and Lyft, I'm going to stay very inactive while I'm driving. And I drive anywhere from 20 to 35 hours, depending on the week, what's going on, the days, all that fun stuff. Also, the season can play into it. I drive a lot more in the winter. So I know going into winter now, as we're the day after Thanksgiving, I know that you are going to be less active because there's not as many things to do, especially outside. So I had to reevaluate what I was doing. So I changed my diet completely. Now I make all my food. I eat my food. I've cut out nearly all sugars and carbs except for 2 cheat meals, which I usually do on Wednesday and Sunday morning. Other than that, it's always clean eating. I've boosted my activity level when I'm not driving and when I have the ability to. And I also work out now 4 to 6 times a week, very stringently. And I also do cardio 2 times a day for 30 minutes on the elliptical each time. Now that's my story and what I've done. But the really nice thing is, over the last month, I've actually dropped about 20 pounds and I'm continuing to where I want to get for my goal weight. So even though I'm driving more now because of the winter, I'm actually able to lose weight even with driving. So because of my changes in those 3 other aspects, which is the diet, the the activity, and the exercise factors, driving Uber and Lyft is not having any sort of impact on weight gain when it comes to those few factors and doing it the correct way. So quick disclaimer, what I'm doing exactly is good for me. It might not necessarily be good for you. It just depends on maybe what your goals are, or if you even want to curb or stop any possible weight gain when being a Uber or Lyft driver and driving X amount of hours per week. It's really going to be dependent on you or your goals and also what you're able to do. But with that disclaimer being said, yes, if you are starting to gain weight or worried about gaining weight when driving Uber and Lyft and just sitting there for so much, you can make sure that you can help stop it or curb it or reverse it, depending on where you're at and what your goals are, by changing those 3 factors. So if you make your diet very well and eat clean, eat good, again, your body's going to use that and create energy and not create fat stores. So that's going to be good. Cutting out sugar and carbs are going to probably be the best for most people. Depending on what diet you do, that's up to you, what works for you. But trying to cut those things out and not necessarily just getting rid of it all together, but at least limiting how much you're intaking will have a substantial impact. Also, the activity level that you're doing outside of driving. So if you sit at a desk all day, maybe think about getting a standing desk or, have some sort of little bike thing that you can rotate on while you're sitting at your desk, or get up, move around a little bit more. And then when you're not working, when you're free, do a little bit more activity. And then also make sure you exercise, get the proper exercising in that you may need. And then that way, driving for Uber and Lyft will not have any impact on weight gain because you are following those other factors and sticking to them pretty well. All right, that's the end of today's video. Hope you guys learned a lot, especially when it comes to if Uber and Lyft driving is making you fat or not, depending on what you're doing. Comment below, let me know if you've noticed anything or what you're doing in terms of if you are, trying to fight weight gain while driving Uber or Lyft, or reverse weight gain and do some weight loss while driving. Comment below, let me know. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded and anytime I go live, so you can join in on the live chat and we can hang out and have a good time. And as always, never drink and drive, always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time. All right, yes, being that it is Black Friday, all Real Rideshare Stories merch is on sale. If you want to go, you can click the link in the description below where it says the merch, or you could just go to realridesharestories.com and you will be right at the merch page. So, as a Black Friday deal, which we are going to be doing all the way through Monday, if you type in RRS 15 off, you'll receive 15% off any merchandise you buy with that code. So make sure you type in RRS 15 off.